So before we get started on this week's episode, let me tell you about our presenting sponsor, Hunt to Harvest. If you're looking to get an upgrade or update on your hunting apparel, then hunttoharvest.com is where you need to go. Well, right now you can go check out their spring 2023 collection where they have numerous shirt designs for both turkey hunters as well as fishing. Also, they have a sale going on right now with their long sleeve shirts. So if you're wanting to get a head start on your winter collection, hunttoharvest.com has it all ready for you. And they still have that mystery box special going on where you can get 3 shirts chosen at random sent to you for just $33. Be sure when you go to checkout to use that promo code RADNEY18923. That's RADNEY18923 for even more savings at checkout at hunttoharvest.com. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of 3 Wide. I'm your host, Radney Crawford. This week we're going to be doing things a little bit differently on this channel. Normally we will be doing our race reviews from the Cup Series race on Sunday. Instead, I want to be focusing this week on the playoff outlook for each series. And we're going to do a series of videos each night. Tonight will be the Craftsman Truck Series. Tomorrow night will be the Xfinity Series. And Thursday night we will release a video looking at the Cup Series playoff outlook. And I know we still got a little bit of time for the Cup Series and the Xfinity before we start getting into the real nitty-gritty of that battle. But for the trucks, we only have 4 races left before this playoff field is set. So, and it feels like the playoff picture is really taking a backseat to other big news stories throughout this season. It's been a very news-heavy season, more so than usual, with penalties, suspensions, injuries. It's been a lot going on this season. So we're going to spend some time looking at the playoff picture for each series, starting out tonight with the Craftsman Trucks. So to kick things off, we're going to look at the drivers who are already locked in with wins. We have 3 two-time winners, drivers like Grant Enfinger, Christian Eckes, as well as Zane Smith. And then we have some one-time winners so far, drivers like Corey Heim, Karsten Hocevar, and Ben Rhodes. Those guys are locked in. Their playoff spot is settled, but there are guys behind them that are still battling on points. You have Ty Majeski, who is 113 points right now above the cut line. He's in a pretty good spot, but then behind him is where the real battle begins. You have Matt Crafton, who's 21 points above the cut line, Stuart Friesen, 14 points up, and Matt DiBenedetto, who is only 7 points above that cut line. So a real tight battle is setting up for the Craftsman Truck Series in this playoff points. Now, below that cut line, you have drivers like Tanner Gray, who's 7 points out from the playoffs. Then you have Nick Sanchez, who's 11 points, Chase Purdy, who is 38 points, and Jake Garcia, who is 58 points. Now, the next 4 races for the regular season for the Truck Series, they will be going to Nashville, Mid-Ohio, Pocono, and Richmond. So 4 completely different tracks. There's going to be a lot going on. And look, I wanted to look at the finishes from these 4 drivers, both above the cut line on points and below it. And starting out with the guys who are above this cut line, Ty Majeski, I'm not focusing so much on him. 113 points up. I feel like he's a virtual lock to get in on points unless they go off and rattle 4 straight different winners. That does not include Ty Majeski, which would be a shock, honestly. So looking at Matt Crafton, in these 4 races coming up last year at these tracks, he finished 10th at Nashville, 18th at Mid-Ohio, 15th at Pocono, and 7th at Richmond. So pretty consistent finishes for Matt in these 4 tracks last season. And the stage points, which is going to be a big focus for me right now, he got 17 stage points total in all 4 races, and all those points came in at Pocono and Richmond. Then you got Stuart Friesen, 14 points up, but he was the best finisher in all 4 of these races, really. He finished 5th at Nashville, 4th at Mid-Ohio, 14th at Pocono, and 11th at Richmond. And he got the most stage points of any of these drivers above the cut line last year with a total of 36. So if he can just go out and do the same as he did last season, and he's been doing this season, which is just consistently getting points, he's going to be fine. Like I said, unless there's a handful of different winners. So Stuart Friesen, I think he'll be fine as long as he keeps doing Stuart Friesen things, being consistent, getting top 5s, getting top 10s, mainly getting stage points throughout the race. Matt DiBenedetto, this is the one that's a little bit more of a question mark. Just 7 points above the cut line. There's not a lot of wiggle room here, and he is going to have to go out and perform much better than he did last year. Now, they've been better this season with the 25 truck. His average finish is up from last season. He only has 1 less top 10 through 12 races than he did all of last season. And he has 1 top 5, which is the same as he had all of last year. So definitely more of an improvement for this 25 truck. And it should be easy for him to improve these results from last year. He didn't get any stage points, so that's going to need to be a big focus for this team. But the finishes, you look at Nashville, he finished 31st there. At Mid-Ohio, 19th, Pocono 12th, and Richmond 17th. So really for 3 of those races, he's going to have to look for better results. A 12th at Pocono, you can probably live with, but 31st at Nashville, that's not going to cut it. 19th at Mid-Ohio, that's not going to cut it. And I believe he can improve as long as he keeps his nose clean, stays out of other people's trouble, and gets stage points. If you can just get 1 or 2, something to maintain this gap, he'll be fine. And now the drivers below the cut line, starting with Tanner Gray in the 4 races, the 4 same tracks that they went to last year, 30th at Nashville, 20th at Mid-Ohio, 10th at Pocono, 16th at Richmond. He got 0 stage points, much like Matt DiBenedetto. So one of these 2 guys is going to have to step up. Tanner Gray, he started off really hot last year, cooled off, and missed the playoffs completely. This year, he's as close as he's ever been, showing a little bit more consistency in his first year with the Tricon Garage team, and he's definitely got to be hoping to get a playoff spot just to try and secure his spot with Toyota. And much like Matt DiBenedetto, if he could just go out and improve from 30th and 20th, he'll definitely be sitting in a better spot. But those are the 2 drivers to watch throughout the stages in each race, because that's going to be a key battle. Nick Sanchez, he wasn't in any of these 4 tracks last season, so he's kind of an unknown. Nick's been inconsistent. He's shown a lot of speed, a lot of promise, come close to getting wins, but shows a lot of rookie mistakes, which is expected with this young driver. But overall, he's been impressive. If he doesn't make the playoffs, it's nothing to hang his head down low on. He's had a good rookie season. This has been a solid rookie field, which is something this Craftsman Truck Series has really needed. But looking at Chase Purdy, last year at Nashville, he finished 13th, Mid-Ohio 13th, Pocono 11th, Richmond 14th. And for Chase, he's been a lot better this year in KBM equipment. Some of his finishes may not show it. He's gotten caught up in a couple of other drivers' incidents. But if he can go out and bump this 13th up to somewhere in the low top 10s, slowly trickle away at this lead. It's going to be tough, 38 points, 4 races. He's really going to have to get some stage points throughout this race and possibly have to pull up a upset win out of his hat. But it's possible. With a KBM truck showing the potential that we all thought was there, anything's possible. And Jake Garcia, he only ran Richmond last year, which he finished 20th. But I look at Jake Garcia and Purdy for that matter. These are the 2 guys I think have the most upset potential to get themselves into the playoffs, whether it be on points or by win. For Garcia, he has the highest average finish of any of these 4 drivers that are below the cut line. And like I said, this has been an impressive rookie field. So I think one of these rookies could make it. As far as who it is, I'm not sure. And you still below these guys have drivers like Haley Deegan, Rajah Caruth, as well as Tyler Ankrum, who are not going to, they can't be concerned with stage points. They can't be concerned with trying to just go out in a good finish. They need to go out and get a win. They can be a lot more bold in their pit strategy and how they race on the track. Rajah, he's shown some flashes in some of these races. He's going to have to get a little bit flashier about it. Haley Deegan, the same. Like this past weekend at Gateway where she was spun by Nick Sanchez, you're going to have to avoid other people's mistakes. You're going to have to avoid making your own mistakes. And you're going to have to go for some Hail Marys in these last 4 races. And Mid-Ohio, that's a good place where you could get it done. A lot of craziness can happen there. Pocono, I just wish we didn't have stage breaks because it really breaks up what could be an excellent upset potential race with the pit strategy and pushing the fuel mileage. That, if we didn't have stage breaks, could have the potential to be a upset race right there. But before we sign off, going back to the guys who are already winning locked in, nobody's really setting themselves apart at this moment of being the favorite for the championship or really even the championship 4. You got drivers you can pick out. You can say, I can see them being in the final 4. But as far as a championship favorite, it's just hard to pick. Last year, I think it was a clear-cut Zane Smith. Now, Zane, he's had some struggles over the past handful of races, hasn't had the good finishes. It's kind of opened the door for somebody else to step in and take that favorite role. Grant Enfinger, he's been on quite a roll this season in that 23 truck, finding more of his groove with this team. Ty Majeski, he may not have wins, but he is always up there in the top 5, top 10, competing for good, solid finishes. Christian Eckes, I just am not seeing enough consistency out of him yet. But after this past win he got at Darlington, he is showing a little bit more consistency on his side. He has to keep that up and start building up some playoff points if he wants to hope to advance. Ben Rhodes, he won at Charlotte, but again, I just have not seen enough consistency to really think of him as a Final Four threat. Then you got Carson Hocevar. Don't think he's quite ready for the spotlight yet. Maybe give him another year. He's showing more maturity now, better decisions on the track. So his day is coming. I don't know if it's this season. Corey Heim, I could see him making the Final Four. He's been very impressive in that 11 truck. So it's going to be a real tight battle this year, no matter who's in the playoffs. Because, like I said, with Zane going on this kind of, lull of finishes, it's opened the door for somebody to step up. And when the playoffs start, we're going to find out who is ready for the spotlight and who isn't. And that'll wrap up this episode of 3 Wide. As always, thank you for joining me and watching along. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button because we got 2 more videos coming out right behind this one over the next couple days, where we are going to look at the NASCAR Xfinity Series and Cup Series playoff outlook. But if you're wanting to hear some talk about this past weekend's races, both at Gateway and Portland, follow the link below in the description to my weekly podcast where we go in depth over each race. You can also find the link to my sponsor, Hunt to Harvest. Go check their hunting apparel out. Let them know we sent you using that promo code RADNEY18923. And we will see y'all same time tomorrow as we go over the NASCAR Xfinity Series playoff outlook.